Then I could share this video with you and with other people who couldn't join today. And I'm Katerina. I work at Stand-Uply. Stand-Uply is a project management automation tool. We are making project management automation tool. And we have this initiative to invite speakers and invite people to join and get some insights and knowledge. And so I'm really glad that Punita Dave is today our speaker. And Punita is founder of Apex Orion and Scrum Master with great experience. I hope you will get today something great. And yeah, please, Punita, it's your
All right.
stage now.
Thank you, Katerina. So welcome everyone. I'm Punita Dev. My last name is pronounced like the way you say the way. But Dave is simpler than you can just say Dave. So my Scrum journey started way back in year 2003. And ever since then, I have been using Scrum, transforming organizations. I used to be a software engineer, and then I transitioned into management, and that's when my Scrum journey also started. So I haven't looked back. I have pushed the boundaries of Scrum beyond software, experimented a lot. And off late, I hear this a lot from a lot of people that with AI, a lot of roles in Scrum are going to become redundant, and people are worried that our jobs will be taken away. So when Katrina and I were chatting, I said, you know what, let's talk about that. It's like, why are we worried? And what's the reason behind us being a little bit concerned about our jobs and how our roles are going to evolve? So today's talk is primarily about that, focused on how AI could impact the lives of people on a Scrum team. And I have a slide deck just for anchoring our conversation, which I'm going to share here. And Katrina has a copy, so she will probably be able to share that with the rest of the group later on as well. So, one thing that I have come to conclude is that AI enhances Scrum, not replaces it. So one of the worries that, our jobs will be replaced, we are going to become redundant. We should move away from that thinking and think of AI as a friend and see how we can leverage AI for our work environment and make our work easier, right? And I have an analogy from good old days when I used to be an engineer. I used to be a software engineer. I worked on Oracle database. I used to be a Unix kernel level expert on coding. And in those days, we used to code by hand. You had to remember the syntax. If you got the syntax wrong, all you'll see is hundreds of compilation errors, and you wouldn't know where the problem was. And you had to go step by step by step to see where this process was creating a problem. You had to, print your output, capture the output on a file, then read the file to determine till which point in your code did the work progress, and then it started throwing errors, and that's how you would spot syntax errors. Those were the days. And then came the IDEs, the integrated development environments. And one of the very first ones for Java was the Visual Studio. And I worked on that product, building of that IDE itself. So I got the privilege to work on that. And this IDE was one of the most popular ones till we got Eclipse, and then Eclipse became more popular than the IDE that I was working on. But when they started becoming popular, a lot of coders started thinking that our jobs are in jeopardy. Coding is going to become redundant because now IDEs are going to take over. They are going to have all the syntax, and coders won't be needed. That was the thinking industry wide amongst the engineers. And over the years, we know that IDEs have not taken our jobs away. They have simply made the jobs easier. And that's exactly how I look at AI. AI is a new thing. We are all kind of afraid of it, or skeptical about it, or anxious about it. But at the end of the day, if you think about how it is evolving and where it is heading, and what does history tell us? It tells us that whenever there is something new, it's going to make our jobs easier. It might change our job a little bit, but it is not going to take away our jobs. And in order to put our worries to rest, we need to understand how AI is evolving. So I'm going to move to the next slide and talk about the state of AI. Now, when you look at AI as a big picture, right? We all hear, all terms. Everyone says, "Oh, ChatGPT is cool, and this tool there is great, and I like Gemini over ChatGPT," and you hear a lot of buzzwords out there. But at the end of the day, it boils down to these four things. There are four types of AI machines, so to speak. The first one is a reactive machine. A reactive machine doesn't have any memory, so it's not able to learn. All it can do is it can solve some simple problems for you. It can take in the big amount of data, process that data, and give you the result of that processing. That is a reactive machine. No learning involved, no memory involved. Once it has done the analysis for you, it is not going to remember it. Okay, that's a reactive machine, and that is essentially how a lot of big data technology started evolving. They evolved based on what are called reactive machines, right? Um, so that is the first step, right? Too big for a human brain to process. You take the help of a computer to process that big amount of data to see the trends and analyze the data and figure out what's the next best thing to do. That's the first state or first phase or first type of AI. And we are past that. We are past that in the sense we have already achieved that. The second state is the limited memory machines. These machines have some amount of memory. They can learn from the data that they process, so they can retain some of the data and they can process the data. They kind of work like our neural networks where the brain cells have some data stored in them, but they rely on the connections with each other to draw the big picture. Right? So it is able to train itself. It is able to store some information and learn from that information. So it evolves as it learns more and more. Some good examples would be natural language processing or image processing. And this is what you see in the tools that are very popular today, like ChatGPT or Gemini. You see that they are good at doing these types of things: natural language processing, image processing, writing stuff up for you based on the data that it has gathered. So it has gathered data, learned from that data as to how to form sentences, how to write stuff, and then it is able to write stuff for you. So some amount of learning, right? Limited memory machines. That's where we are today. The third step or the evolution and the third step in the evolution of AI would be the theory of mind, where AI becomes self aware or starts becoming self aware. It knows that it exists. It is able to learn and it is able to keep growing with that experience. It is not limited by memory, right? It is able to operate at an emotional level, understand at an emotional level. And that's the third state, right? So it makes experience based decisions. It is emotional. It knows that it exists and it is able to learn from its experiences. That is the theory of mind. We are not there yet. This doesn't exist. Somewhere around this time last year, or maybe earlier this year, Google was finally able to get its AI able to pick a dinosaur from toys that were dropped on the floor, saying, "Pick an extinct animal." And it was able to recognize that dinosaur is extinct and it was able to pick it up. That's how far we have evolved. We haven't evolved to an extent where we can say this machine is now learning from its experience, it is going to store that experience and continue to become more and more intelligent. That process is very, very slow. The machines are not emotional yet. Okay. The fourth stage in the evolution is a complete self awareness. Says consciously aware of its existence and how it fits in the world. So it's not just aware that it exists, it is aware consciously, meaning it is continuously conscious that it is a separate entity than the rest of the world. It is aware that it is a machine, and it is aware that there are human beings, and it is aware that it needs to connect with those human beings and interact with them. That's the final stage. So if you look at all these four stages, reactive machines, yes, we have those. Limited memory machines, that's where we are today. Theory of mind, you're far away from there. And same with the self-awareness, right? So the worries that we have right now, is AI going to take our jobs away? If AI gets to the third or latter part of the third stage and to the fourth stage, that's when you might worry about AI taking our jobs away, or most of the parts of our jobs away. But then what is going to happen is, because they are going to take AI is going to take care of those things, we will have time to do other stuff. So the process of evolution will continue. We will change, our job content will change, but we'll still be there. And we are going to look at how that's going to happen in just next few slides. So that's the state of AI. And I want to put all the worries to rest based on where we are today. It's at least for foreseeable future, theory of mind is still a theory. It's not a reality. Now, it could happen that quantum computers pick up, and we figure out a way to make really big quantum computers and lots of them. And these quantum computers, they connect with each other, and all of a sudden the theory of mind becomes a reality. And if that happens, we might have a reality of theory of mind in another 4 to 5 years. But that's the fastest that we are talking about. It's like at light speed. If we progress at light speed, that's what you'll see in the next 4 to 5 years. So as far as where we are today, we are going to talk about how reactive machines and limited memory machines make our jobs easier. We are not going to worry about theory of mind or self-awareness. So I'm going to move on to the Scrum Master role. Scrum Master makes things happen, makes things easier, is a facilitator, mentor, trainer, coach, right? Removes impediments. So we are all agilists. We know, what a Scrum Master does. But I have some verbiage out there if you're ever interested in going back and reading the slides. So how can AI help a Scrum Master? The first thing it can do is it can generate reports. One of the biggest challenge that any project manager or a scrum master or a program manager has is generating all the types of reports that management is asking for. And AI can simply generate those reports on the fly for you. Takes away a lot of burden of mundane work from the scrum masters. Meeting management, setting up the meetings, sending reminders, making sure people are attending, ensuring agendas have been forwarded, taking meeting notes, recording the meeting, and then deciphering what went on during the meeting, and then taking notes from that, tracking action items. So all those types of meeting management stuff, AI can take care of for the Scrum Master. Impediment management, the removal of the impediment will still be done by the Scrum Master, but the management of the impediments, which impediment to work on first, determination of that. tracking of the impediment, reaching out to people who are responsible for helping them with the impediment. AI can help with that. Communication barriers and language translation. This is one of the biggest challenge that we have had is the language barrier. Especially as a scrum master, when you're working across geographies, you're going to face a language barrier. I have a caregiver who comes for my mom and she speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. So how do you communicate? Use Google Translate. Right? That's AI at work. That's what's going to happen. That's where AI is going to help people bridge the gap of the communication and language and work more collaboratively together and understand each other better. Okay. Determine patterns in success, risk, pitfalls, and bottlenecks. One of the things that I always tell people in Agile, especially people who are leading Agile transformations, is look at the patterns in the organization. Every organization has different patterns, and your scaling effort should be catered to the patterns in your organization. In some very large organizations, it's very difficult to see those patterns. I once did a project for a very large company, a credit card company, 4,200 people transformation. And we had created a huge mind map on a wall. It took us about 2 months to fill it up. And when we created that mind map, it was mind-boggling how interconnected everything was. And we're not able to comprehend the interconnectivity. We said, this is a great thing that we have come up with. Let's make the best use of it. But by the time we were done with the transformation, we had utilized only 10% of what we had learned because we are not able to see those types of patterns in that whole big picture. What AI can do for you, for the Scrum Master, for the Agile coaches who are leading these types of transformations, is it's going to help you determine those patterns. Which patterns are successful in the organizations, which patterns are not successful. Which patterns, when you see, you know there is a risk, and you start mitigating the risk upfront. Right? So, all those kinds of things, AI is going to help the Scrum Master determine and work on it faster, making the organization more efficient, more effective, doing more with less. Manage retrospective team improvement action items. That's a very mundane task. AI can do that for the Scrum Masters and analyze any training needs for the organization. All right. So those are some thoughts on how AI can help Scrum Masters. I'm sure there are other ways that we'll figure out to use AI, but I think to begin with, these are some of the cool things that we can use. Same way for the product owners. A product owner is responsible for designing good products that sell in the market and generate a good ROI, return on investment. Right? So they gather requirements, work with the customers, work with the stakeholders, prioritize tasks, analyze the market, analyze the competition, provide a vision and a roadmap, manage the product backlog. Those are the kinds of things a product owner does. So how will AI help a product owner? Now, I've heard comments like AI is going to eliminate product owner role. No, it's not. Now, let's face it, right? Product owner role is much more than a simple analysis of the market trends or analysis of the competition. It is much more than that. It is cognitive decision making. It's a human centric role, interacting with all the stakeholders, all the customers, and then bringing it all together. There are aspects of it which are analytical, and that's where AI can come in and help at this point. But it cannot do anything beyond that. Right? So what are the different types of things AI can do? Gather data, analyze data from social media posts and how social media is reacting to certain trends in the market. So you can gather that data and map it to the product and say, based on what is happening on the social media, this is what the trend looks like. This particular feature, hey, product owner, may not be that successful. So it may provide that type of feedback. Same thing with competition. It can analyze the competition and say that these are the things that competitors are focusing on. It is aligned with the trends in the market. Hey, product owner, why don't you consider these types of features? Product life cycle, industry life cycle. These days, product life cycles have become very short. They used to be pretty long, now they become very short. We live in what I call a hyper competitive market where the product life cycle is extremely, extremely short. And earlier, what used to happen was when the product would be towards the tail end of its life cycle, there will be a new disruptor that will come in. Now, what happens is even as one product is growing, there is another disruptor that comes in. So the overlap is also pretty fierce and competitive. So the AI can talk about and share these types of trends as well, is that the product life cycle is becoming shorter. The overlap of the product life cycles is way much more than what it used to be before. The disruptions are coming in way more quickly. So those types of trends AI can figure out and share with the product owner so that the product owner can determine how to pace the product and the features of the product. Um, Productive customer and stakeholder interactions. AI can help product owner analyze emails and feedback and surveys from customers and stakeholders and say, based on all these answers, here is a common theme that is of interest to the stakeholders and the customers. Or here is the focus that this particular customer has. So when the product owner is interacting with that customer, the product owner can then cater the conversations accordingly. So more productive communication with customers and stakeholders, product backlog management, vision, road mapping, AI can help with those things. Now, here AI can give suggestions. The final decision will lie with the product owner. That's where the human-centric side of the product owner role will come in. Routine tasks like scheduling, survey creations, web page creations, collaboration activities, all those types of things, AI can do the planning and coordination and all those kinds of things. The actual running of the event will have to be done by the humans, but AI can help with the management of those. Uh, Once again, determine patterns in success and failures and features and user experience, and if the user experience is improving, what is improving the user experience and how can we continue doing that? So those types of trends. Assess risks associated with any new proposed features. Like if a product owner has determined a feature that he or she believes is going to sell in the market, the product owner can feed it into an AI thinking machine and say, hey, what do you think? Do you think based on the market and the trends and the competition, this feature is going to sell? And AI might analyze all the data points and come back and say, well, based on all the data points, it doesn't seem so, or it actually is going to fly right away. So whatever the answer is. So it takes away a lot of guesswork from the product owner's role. And last but not the least, increase return on investment. Do more with less. So those are some ways how AI is going to help the product owner role. And then finally, the Scrum team as a whole. So Scrum team has developers responsible for developing the product. And then you have two specialized roles, the Scrum Master and the product owner. So talking about Scrum team as a whole. Scrum team is self-managing. It is responsible for delivering the product, has the expertise necessary to deliver the product, estimates the items, and then actually works on it and creates a working product, right? So the role has technical, operational, and human aspects. And with the technical and operational aspects, AI can come handy and helpful based on where it is today, right? So Scrum events and management of Scrum events, we've already talked about that, like scheduling a meeting, note taking, pursuing out on the action items, those types of things. Managing the sprint backlog, updating the product backlog whenever there is a need for a quick update. For example, say during a sprint review, The stakeholder provided a feedback. The product owner says we'll add it to the product backlog. AI will analyze that conversation and will add an item to the product backlog automatically. That future is not far away. If it's not here today, it is going to be here in next couple of years. Right? That'll be smart enough to do that. So updating sprint and product backlog based on conversations in the meeting, reporting. So all those things about the events in Scrum or meetings in Scrum. Then doing the analysis, tracking progress, so reporting, tracking progress, tracking any patterns, providing insights on the velocity, saying, this group of people, based on how they were doing earlier, this is what they're going to be able to do. Estimate recommendations. It might say that based on all the technological knowledge that I have built within myself as a low memory machine, what I recommend is this as an estimate. Now, just as AI may recommend features to the product owner, AI may recommend estimates to the developers. At the end of the day, the decision of the feature is made by the product owner, decision on the estimates is made by the developer. But AI can make those types of recommendations, take the guesswork out of it. And improve action items tracking. So those are some other things that AI can do for the Scrum team. Technology teams who are working on any technological projects, they're going to have software code, and AI can establish coding standards. It can do automated code reviews. In fact, there are tools who are already trying to do that now. And then automatically update the tracking tools or the version control tools. If some check-in happens in a version control tool, AI can determine this check-in was related to which problem. And then if all the check-ins related to that problem are done, the AI can mark that as done and say, we are done with this, right? So it can track those things. It can write test cases. It can run a code coverage. It can run vulnerability tests, performance testing. So it can do all of those things for technology teams. And in the near future, so in another 2 to 4 years, I believe we'll be at a point where AI will be able to propose multiple solutions for A/B testing. Optimal solution based on pattern recognition. So based on what patterns are there, say, well, this is the pattern that our product has, this is the pattern that the competition has, this is the pattern of the customer requests, these is the pattern in the market trends. Based on all these patterns, this is possibly the best solution to this problem. It might even be able to recommend that. And then it will also be able to determine if something meets the definition of done or not. So quality standard maintenance will be done by AI in the coming future. In next 2 to 4 years is what I believe, that if we'll be there, if not be there, at least we would have started hearing about all these things. So that's where I see AI helping the Scrum team. So if we were to kind of look at what we just discussed over past half an hour, we'll say that where we are today, we are past our low memory machines. We are looking at theory of mind, and we are going to evolve into that, but that's going to take time. So where we are today, we can analyze stuff, we can learn a few things, we can store some experiences, but not a whole lot, right? So will AI take away our jobs? As I started this conversation saying, there was a point in time where coders thought their job is going to go away because of the IDEs. Same way, similarly, we are thinking today that agile teams' jobs are going to be taken away by AI. They're not. They're going to evolve, and we'll have to stay in line as they evolve, and continue to change and make the best use of what AI has to offer, and then move forward from there. So we should be looking more at the future with AI rather than future where we are fighting against AI. AI is here, AI is here to stay, and it is not going to take away our jobs. it is going to make our jobs easier. So let's start utilizing it and make the best of it so that our lives become easier. So that's what I wanted to end this conversation with. I would say thank you to all of you for attending, and I'm ready to take any questions. And if you have any need to reach out to me ever, you know Katrina from Stand Up Lee, or I have my contact information here as well. Thank you. Well, take any questions you have at this point.
Hey, Panita, I have a question.
Sure.
So I have a friend who is creating a product, and they were doing a POC, and they were showing it to some of the users. They necessarily weren't Scrum Masters, but after feeding that model, the user was interacting with this product that my friend built. They actually started to get a little bit scared of what my friend had created. And at first they were giving inputs, they were giving insights, they were being extremely helpful. And then when they after a couple of iterations, they saw that what it could do, and instantly they froze. They kind of were more shy because they were very scared of it eventually replacing them. It was within the healthcare industry. So my question to you is, how can we keep users and Scrum Masters who are interacting with AI calm and contributing throughout this journey as we go through these states? Like what are some tips that you would say if once they see like a huge breakthrough that occurs and they freeze up, how can we make sure that they stay on track and reassure them that um, um, nothing's going to happen to them, that they're going to be able to work on other things? And what are those other things too, in your opinion?
Right. So I think that's where the challenge is what are those other things that we can do? And what I have found beneficial in these types of situations is draw the attention that, is this something that you always wanted to do but never had time to do? So put yourself in their shoes. Say, it's about a visiting nurse that goes to a patient's home. Because you mentioned healthcare, I'm trying to draw an analogy there, right? So goes to patient's home, takes notes, and then, leaves. And I've seen that someone comes home, my mom, once every 2 or 3 months to do the same thing. And most of the time, what ends up happening is she is very busy taking notes because that system is very manual and she has to enter all the data in and she is very busy taking notes. And you may want to ask, that person, say, for example, this nurse that I'm giving you an example of, I would ask her, is like, is this what you signed up for? Or did you actually want to help the patients? Right. And invariably they'll say, well, I actually wanted to help the patients, but the paperwork is so heavy. It's like, that's where your opportunity is let AI do that paperwork for you. You have a conversation with the patient, you talk to the patient, let AI capture that conversation, draw the notes out, and put the notes in the system. Right? You don't have to spend time typing it in. You can do the real work of helping your patients. And that's how I usually tend to, talk about these types of big changes that come in, saying things that you always wanted to do, but you could not do. And it does require a little bit of you putting yourself in their shoes and seeing the world from their perspective and empathizing with them and then coming up with other things that they can do. But I hope I answered your question.
Oh yeah. Mm.
Okay.
But yeah, we share the same thought there. So thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right. All right. Okay.
Uh,
Okay. If there are no other questions, then Katrina, we may want to
yeah,
call
I
it a day.
think we can wrap it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you everyone
All
for
right.
coming.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. Bye.